The marine biome climate varies from -40 degrees to 100 degrees is the largest biome in the world. Where it is closest to the equator, the water is warmest, and at the poles, the water is close to freezing or frozen. The weather is very harsh due to ocean currents and wind intensity. Nitrogen is the most common limiting factor, as well as climate extremes, pH level, temperature, and food supply. The marine biome is composed of the euphotic zone, where most sunlight and thus life is, the dysphotic zone, which is more dark and gloomy and thus doesn't harvest as much life, and the aphotic zone, which is only home to plants and animals that have adapted to its extreme conditions.
Some carnivores include sharks, such as the great white tiger, and large fish like the mahi-mahi. All herbivores include sea turtles, smaller fish, and hermit crabs. Plants include kelp, coral, alimeta, and rhophodita. All animals and plants in the marine biomes have tolerance or dependence on salinity. Many have gills that help them breathe underwater, or have developed another adaptation to allow them to do so. Many animals have thicker blubber to allow them to survive in the cold.
There are 5 types of relationships present in the marine biome: competition, predation, mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. Sponges compete for living space with coral. Commensalism between barnacles and blue whales. The whale transports the barnacle while neither the barnacle nor the whale is harmed. There is mutualism between the boxer crab and the anemone. The crab uses the anemone's tentacles to fight off their predators, while the anemone is carried around to capture more food particles. Parasitism is present between isopods and angelfish. Isopods attach and feed onto the angelfish skin until the angelfish dies. Major predators are sharks, who prey on anything from smaller fish to seals.
Hammerhead sharks are found in tropical warm waters all over the world. They generally stay close to the surface of the water along continental shelves and coastlines. The hammerhead eats other ocean species such as rays, squid, octopus, crustaceans, crabs, lobsters, and other sharks, and thus helps maintain the ocean's population and diversity. Hammerhead sharks generally stick to themselves and are fairly harmless to humans. They do not interact with other species much, except those that they feed on, and the gray bionclave flyfish, whom they share a symbiotic relationship. The gray bionclave flyfish lives inside the hammerhead shark's left nostril and uses a vacuum-like object on its belly to suck out parasites. In return, the hammerhead shark provides these parasites as food for the gray bionclave flyfish. The hammerhead shark is a fish in the Sphyrnidae family. Its relatives are scoophead and bonnethead sharks. Its hammerhead-shaped head and its eyes on the sides give it good 360-degree vision. It's well known for its ability to make very sudden and sharp turns. Not only does the hammer act as an organ of balance, but its body seems to be specifically designed to twist and bend. Usually, their skin is light gray with a greenish tint, and they have a white belly that helps allow them to blend in and sneak up on their prey. Hammerheads are threatened, but scalloped hammerhead sharks have become the first species of shark to be protected by the U.S. Endangered Species Act. Overfishing is the chief threat to these fascinating sharks and is driven mostly by Asian demand for shark fin soup. Often, sharks are finned after captured and then flung back into the sea alive to slowly die from blood loss or starvation. Many hammerheads also die as accidental bycatch in large commercial fishing nets in the Atlantic, where the hammerhead is seldom taken for its fins. Massive illegal fishing of hammerheads occurs in the Indian Ocean and near Africa.
Blue whales can be found living in any of the oceans around the world, but usually in the deep and cold ones. They only eat krill, making the blue whale a carnivore. It has no symbiotic relationships, but it does have a commensalistic relationship with barnacles. The whale transports the barnacle while the barnacle is not harmed. During summer, they eat in more polar waters, while in winter they migrate closer to the equator. The blue whale is believed to have evolved from cows, camels, and sheep. Their closest sea relatives are the humpback whale and the fin whale, while their closest land relative is the hippopotamus. Instead of teeth, blue whales have a fingernail-like material called baleen. The baleen helps the whales to catch krill for consumption. Blue whales are also covered in blubber, helping them float, keep warm, and look big to predators. Blue whales are currently endangered according to the IUCN Red List. The major cause of endangerment was humans killing them for whale oil. Between 1900 and 1950, about 360,000 whales were killed for oil and other resources. To protect and restore them, a ban on whaling took place in 1966, which stopped whaling worldwide. There are now an estimated 5,000 whales between the North Atlantic and Pacific, as well as the Southern Hemisphere. The population of blue whales is slowly increasing.
The giant devil ray travels long distance across the open ocean, frequently along coastal and offshore sites, as well as around oceanic islands and reefs, to feed and be cleaned by other fish, such as remoras. which attach to the manner's body and consume particles of food that fall from its mouth. Despite its enormous size, it feeds on planktonic organisms by filtering large volumes of water through its mouth. Its closest relatives are the pygmy devil ray, smooth-tailed devil ray, and smooth-tailed mucula. It has evolved triangular pectoral wings and paddle-like lobes extending in front of its mouth and small dorsal fin on the back. The tail of the giant devil ray is slender and slightly flattened, and is shorter than the width of the disc-like body. The giant devil ray's eyes are located on the sides of its head, and its gills are on the other side of its body, allowing it to have a wider range of vision and breathe underwater. The underside of the giant devil ray is largely cream to white, with varying degrees of dark spots and patches, mainly on the belly. Each giant devil ray poses a unique pattern and blotches, spots and scars that can be used to identify individuals and blend into its environment. The giant's devil ray size, slow swimming speed, and tendency to be found on the water surface, often in well-known aggregation sites, making it an endangered species. It is relatively easy to catch in swordfish nets and shark control nets. It is harvested for its oil-rich liver, gill rakers, and its skin.